following results for each candidate for Bolsover. Labour Party, 16,000.
The story of this seat tells one of the biggest stories of the election.
The Conservative Party candidate, 21,791.
No, I don't think it is a surprise really, is it? I think we needed a change.
I'm glad we've got a majority.
Yeah.
It needs to improve, it really does, because they don't cater to everyone else, they just cater to the older version. They need to cater to the younger generations.
Bolsover in Derbyshire is made up of former pit villages. The seat had been Labour since it was created and held by lifelong socialist Dennis Skinner for 45 years.
It were only £700 a time when Jim Callaghan ran. It's now gone up to...
This time it went Conservative.
And I do hereby declare that Mark Peter Fletcher is elected to serve as Member of Parliament for the constituency of Bolsover.
34-year-old Mark Fletcher is the constituency's first ever Tory MP. We spoke to him just before he set off for his House of Commons induction on Sunday afternoon.
We were talking to predominantly Labour voters historically, but we found, this was an election that was very unusual because there are people who supported the Conservative Party here for 30 years who didn't necessarily support our position on Brexit, and so they were going elsewhere. So it wasn't like you could define it by any previous election.
Yeah, what were they saying when you were knocking on Labour doors in Labour areas?
Well, the overwhelming message was that the values of this Labour Party have strayed a long way from working class towns in the north and in the Midlands. It's a sort of, the Labour Party over the last few years has become a party for cities and students, and that was felt very acutely here.
A 10-minute drive away to the south of the constituency is the pit village of Shirebrook, where in September we spoke to retired miner and staunch Labour man Trev Toon. It was clear then the party could be in trouble here. Why are so many traditional Labour supporters thinking of either voting for Farage or Boris Johnson?
It's immigration. Top and bottom on it, it's immigration.
Hi Trev.
All right.
Nice to see you again. How are you feeling after Thursday?
Devastated.
Yeah?
Definitely. Come on in.
Trev voted Labour and still believes in the Corbyn project. Last time I was here, you didn't think that enough people round here, former miners, etc., would switch over to the Tories, but they seem to have done that, so what happened?
It's a Brexit vote, and they're making it. We'll get Brexit. People around here saying it, and we're going to be great. We want to get out, don't we? The sooner the better.
So how much of a problem was Jeremy Corbyn around here?
I think there was a problem. It all boils down to leadership. It's the same as anything. I like them as a man. I like Jeremy. I think he's got principles, but he's had 2 attempts. We've got to move on. Let's a new broom sweeps clean.
Bolsover town centre on a Sunday afternoon. Talking to people here, Brexit does come up. Lee is a metal worker in a local foundry. Last Thursday, for the first time in his life, he chose not to vote Labour.
It pains me to say that I voted for the Brexit Party. I couldn't vote Conservative, I just wanted the Brexit Party, just so we come out and we can start ruling ourselves.
And how come you went for the Brexit Party and not for the Conservatives?
I don't believe in, I can't vote, I live in Chesterfield, can't vote Conservatives. It's against my religion. My grandfather would turn over in his grave if I ever voted for Conservative. But Brexit were to get us out.
But does Brexit alone explain why Labour has lost more than 8,000 votes here since the last election just 2 years ago?
We needed a change.
I'm glad we've got a majority.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you like Boris or not, whether you like their manifesto or not, we've got a majority, and I think that's been holding English politics back for a while, so that's at least one positive.
Like broadband, yeah. It'd be nice to have free broadband, but it's not an essential. I mean...
Not when you're a young family and you've got, obviously got priorities and stuff like that. To be taking more money off for something so silly as broadband, I think there's other things in the world that need to be prioritised.
Don't particularly like him.
Out of loyalty, Julie did back Labour's Dennis Skinner, but she says her family couldn't vote for the party this time.
And my dad's an ex-miner and he voted Conservative this time as well.
First time?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, not the first time, but in recent years, yeah. Both my son's age, well, my son's age 16, not old enough to vote, but he's a young Conservative. And my older son's Conservative as well, so...
So what's happening then in places like this that have always been Labour and now your dad's going...
I think it's Jeremy Corbyn. I don't think they actually like him that much. They haven't got a lot of faith in him. So...
And is it him or is it his policies?
I think it's him. It's such a massive shock in Bolsover that Dennis has gone, so I'm very sad about that.
Many in the party worry Labour's disconnect from its working class base runs deeper than just Brexit. The key question will be whether voters in places like Bolsover have temporarily lent the Tories their support, or whether the whole electoral map has just been redrawn.